Hey crafty cuties! I hope you guys are doing well. I'm excited to share with you the Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge that I created, and I am going to share a full tutorial in this video to show you how I created the book that I came up with for the challenge. Stay tuned until the end if you are interested in entering the challenge, which will also enter you into the giveaway. I would love for you guys to share this video even if you did not want to join the challenge, so check the description box and wait till the end for more details, but let's get into the tutorial. Hello crafty cuties, and welcome back to a very exciting video. This is the Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge, or Minimal Supply Junk Journal Challenge, and I quickly want to go over the supplies I'm going to be using to create a really cool junk journal. And if you haven't seen my Dollar Tree haul, I show all of these supplies over here, and then these are a few other Dollar Tree items that I just wanted to show for ideas. They have tags like these that could be used. Dollar Tree usually has a good supply of stickers. Their napkins are another thing that you can use for embellishing pages and tags. Notepads, cards, I think I already showed that in the haul. Yellow notepads. Envelopes are a really good one. These can be used as pockets throughout your book. They do have like order forms and message pads. Popcorn bags, doilies, lots and lots of ribbon trims, flowers, and things to embellish. The basic supplies I'm going to be adding in that are not from the Dollar Tree is my Tombow Mono Aqua Glue, some inexpensive brown ink, of course some scissors, possibly double-sided tape, some waxed linen thread, and you can use any type of embroidery thread or floss, and a needle, and then an awl, and some paper clips for the binding process. So let's go ahead and finally get in. The first thing I like to do when I'm getting ready to make a junk journal is get an idea for my cover. We are going to gut this book. Now I have a full tutorial on how to do that, and I do suggest watching it if you are wanting to gut your own book. I'm going to gut this and I'll be right back. So our book is now gutted. You can see it's just the cover now. And don't forget that we will be able to use the book pages for pockets and things. So now it's time to coffee dye. I am going to go ahead and make some instant coffee. I have all of my papers picked out here that I want to use in the book and that I want to be coffee dyed. All I'm doing is just going to dunk my paper, and I would typically put this in the oven once I have like maybe 4 or 5 sheets soaked, and put it on a cookie tray and bake it at like 190 for just a few minutes. I just keep checking it, but these I'm leaving out overnight. So I will be back once everything is coffee dyed and we can move on to the next step. So I went ahead and cut down this fabric to the size I need to cover my book. Now this is pretty see-through, so I am probably going to go ahead and cover the book first with some paper, and the Dollar Tree has some craft paper that comes on a roll, kind of like wrapping paper, and I would suggest using that. I'm just going to use some cardstock to cover mine, or actually I'll probably use that white paper that I had from the pad. Cover this. I also think I'm going to coffee dye this because this is very thin. I think that it could get kind of distressed pretty easily, so I would rather have that be intentional. And then we can also use some brown ink on the edges. So I'll go ahead and coffee dye this first and then cover the book in paper, and then we'll cover the book in fabric. So here I'm going to be covering my book, and if you notice, it's already covered in the white paper that I got from the Dollar Tree. And now I'm going to be covering, this is the outside of the book, in that fabric. And I'm just using a pretty good layer of glue, and I make sure to spread it out very even across the book. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on covering a book in fabric, I am going to have that video linked up in the I bar right up there and down below, and I suggest watching that if you need more direction. But I am just keeping this extremely simple, and we are just working on the outside cover right now. So now it's time to get your pages ready, and I'm going to make 2 signatures. A signature is basically a folded stack of papers, and I have my papers cut down to the size of my book already, and I'm going to probably use around 10 full pieces of paper. So I'm just going to go through and pick the order that I want my pages. Remember that for pages you can use things like doilies, folded envelopes, and I have decided to actually keep this book very simple. You guys are going to be surprised. But if you want to use like the calendar pages to cover, this is an envelope that's covered and folded in half, you can do that. You can make tags out of the index cards. I simply just cut the corners off and I glued on a napkin like so. I'm going to do a little bit of decorating, but I'm really not going to go over that in this video. I have promised that I will have a decorating page video coming soon, but I just want to go over the base and try to keep this relatively simple. So now this is a page from the calendar that's folded in half and then folded again like so. And for this, I'm going to use my glue and just glue a line down at the bottom here, and this will create a full pocket. There is so much that you can do with Dollar Tree supplies, but again, I just want this to be pretty simple. So now that's a full pocket page right there. So I'm just going to go through and continue making my signature. I'm only going to have 2 signatures for this book. Remember that we can use book pages as pages. So now I have my 2 signatures. So let me go through and just quickly show you a few things that I did to easily decorate this one. This right here is an envelope that's folded in half. So you take an envelope and you literally fold it up like so. You trim off the tops and then you have created a pocket. And I just covered mine with napkins, and then now I have a double pocket here. I have stapled some lace trim to the edges to create tabs. These are just pages right here. You can fold pieces over to make little flip outs. You can fold pieces over and glue the tops and bottoms to create pockets. Manila envelopes are just a great spot for tucking things in. I've taken some of the Dollar Tree burlap. I hot glued just right around the edge to create a pocket. And you can use Dollar Tree stickers and things. This is a Dollar Tree page. I cut it down to a square, folded it in half, and I glued around the edges to create a little tuck spot. Dollar Tree stickers work really well. So now that we have these done, I'm going to add a few more touches to my second signature and we can get to binding. So now it's time to bind. You're going to want to use some paper clips, and you want to go through and make sure that your pages are all lined up exactly how you want them. Make sure that everything is really, I guess, pressed down in the middle so that there's not a big gap between pages. And then use your paper clips. You can also use washi tape if you have anything small like an envelope. Use your paper clips to hold down each sides of these signatures. And do this for both. So now my signatures are ready to be poked. And so now I'm going to be taking a piece of graph paper. Now this graph paper, it needs to be the exact same size as the binding of your book. So you can see this can fit right inside, and it's really important that it can fit like inside that binding. So you want a piece of graph paper the same size as the spine of your book. I think I said bind. And to sew our signatures in, I'm going to sew those into a little sandwich here. This is actually a piece of Tyvek, which is a shipping bag. If you don't have this, you can use a piece of your manila envelope. And this is going to be the same height as our book, but it's a little bit bigger on each side, about an inch bigger than the spine. And I have this And then I'm using 2 pieces of the fabric just because I like to sew my signatures into fabric. And I'm going to create a little sandwich here. So it's going to be fabric, Tyvek, or manila envelope, fabric. And if you didn't end up getting fabric, you could just use the manila envelope. So I'm just going to glue these together. I just like to have layers. I just feel that it's more durable. Okay, so this is what we are sewing our signatures into. Now I'm going to use a book just to poke into, and we are going to create our template. It's very important to, at the very top, write top, because you don't want to get these mixed up. Now we just need to create some even holes. We have 2 signatures, so we're going to need 2 rows of holes. I'm going to fold once in half, and then I'm going to fold my bottom up to that half line and the top down to that middle line. I'm going to fold this in half to get an idea of where the middle is, and then I will evenly space the 2 rows on either side. So I'm going to put a dot in the middle, and then to the side, to the side. I'm not measuring this, but you very well can. And you might be wondering why I'm creating 3 rows. That middle row, that's just going to be the middle guide for where I will be punching into the signatures. You'll see in just a moment. Oh, that was not where I wanted to punch. That would be bad. Okay. So, you can see there are 3 rows now of pretty even holes. So that middle row, like I said, you're going to fold that in half, and you're going to put this inside your signatures like so. And you want to punch where those holes are. You can use a thumbtack if you don't have an awl. Just make sure this is evenly spaced, and go ahead and punch your holes. And then we are going to punch the holes into our little piece right here as well. Take the piece that you are sewing into, and you want to center your template. And then now we are only going to punch in the 2 rows. So I'm going to do the 2 side rows, not the middle. And if you were doing 3 signatures, which you very well can, then of course you would punch that middle. Just go ahead and poke right through. And again, that's where we will be sewing our signatures into. Now take whatever thread you have, and you want to measure it about 2.5 times the length. I just like to have a little extra to be safe. And then you want 1 of these per signature, so I need 2. Take your needle and thread it through, not double, just single. Just leave a little tail. And now you're going to take the back signature, and you're going to sew it in to the row that's on the right hand side. So you start through the middle. It's going to be a little hard to show you guys, and you're going to sew it into the middle right. Pull that out most of the way. You can use a little piece of washi tape to hold this down. Do not knot it, but you can washi tape that down if you want. Otherwise, I'm just going to be careful. And we're just going to do a very easy pamphlet stitch. And you want to go through that top hole, through the top hole. And you do need to keep this rather tight. As you can see, I'm kind of moving around, and you probably will too. So into that hole. You can tighten everything up right before we tighten it as well, or tie it off. Okay, tighten things up kind of. And then you're going to go out that bottom hole, and then back in through the middle through our signature. Now make sure that everything's very tight, and then I like to have one string on one side of that middle piece. There's a middle string that goes all the way down, and one on the other. And again, make sure that it's very tight before you tie this off. And then go ahead and do a double knot, and then you're going to repeat the same thing for the last signature, or if it's the second one for you in that case. So this one's going to get sewn right next to it in that second set of holes. Now that you have your signatures sewn on into this fabric piece, it's time to glue this piece into our book. And I'm going to use hot glue. I recommend using a very strong glue for this. That's why I like to use hot glue when I'm doing this. And we're just going to put hot glue all down the middle, and then basically just make sure that you have this very centered. Do not glue the flaps yet, just the middle. Make sure that you have your signatures very, very close, and then really quickly add your hot glue to the middle. You gotta work pretty quick here. Make sure everything's upright, and down you go. Make sure to bring each side of the book up so that you know everything's centered and actually like in that spine area. And you want to press down and give a lot of pressure. And then make sure to hold this on for just a bit before anything, you want it to dry. And if you use something other than hot glue, again, make sure that you keep your book closed like this, and make sure that everything's completely dry before moving on to the next step. I'm ready to move on to the next step, so I'm actually going to go ahead and remove all of these paper clips. And just a little heads up, if you did move on to the next step before that middle was dry, you may see a problem with the middle kind of pulling up when you're opening and closing the front. That basically just means that it did not dry before you got moving. So very important. I've done it many times. So now it's time to decorate the front and the front and the back covers. Now, when you're gluing this flap down, I personally like to just add glue around the edges. You want this piece to have a little bit of slack, because if you glue it down too tight, when you're opening and closing the book, you're not going to have enough slack for this to move, and things can get kind of pulled on and ripped up. So again, I'm just going to add glue. I'm probably going to add some hot glue just on the two sides. And I am going to put some paper down over this, but you can see I didn't even put glue on the outer part. So just the two sides. And then so glue those flaps down however you wish. I cut my front and back piece out. This is the calendar pages, and I cut these down just a tiny bit smaller, and I am going to use some of this Dollar Tree burlap to create a pocket, and I am just going to glue around the three edges. And this is another way to kind of conceal this area. You can also use lace or, you know, something to kind of just disguise that there is going to be a little bit of bulk in this area. I just added a generous amount of glue to the back of my page, and I'm going to glue this down, and then I will glue the back one down. You're going to see that I sometimes make mistakes, and you can always fix them. I forgot that I wanted to add some closures, so I have these Dollar Tree pieces of lace. They're about 18 inches cut out, and I meant to put these down before putting the front cover. This hasn't dried yet, so I'm going to lift this up, and underneath I'm just going to stick about 2 inches of the lace in front, and then I will do the same to the back so that we can have a lace closure. And guys, I do this kind of thing all the time, so don't feel alone. Alright guys, here is the final junk journal that I came up with, and I'm going to flip through as I talk to you about the challenge and the giveaway. So the challenge is to create a junk journal using Dollar Tree items under $15. And this is going to also include a giveaway. The prize is the journal that I created, along with some other junk journal items. It is open to US and international, and it's going to end on October 7th. And let me talk a little bit more about the rules, and then I'll get into answering some questions. So to enter, you're going to come back to this video and leave a comment down below. So I will be deleting any comments that are not like an entering you in the giveaway type comment. So you will come back to this video once you have created a junk journal and let me know where you shared like a photo or a video with me. You could send it to my email. You can share a photo on Instagram using the hashtag Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge, or you can make a video if you'd like, share it on Facebook. It doesn't matter. But in the comment of this video, you will say, I created a junk journal and I shared it with you here, wherever. The next thing that you can do to enter is to share my video, or if you make videos, you can make a video talking about my challenge. And again, you will come back to this video, leave a comment saying, I shared your video here, or I made a video talking about your challenge. Here's the link. So now let's go over a few questions. Can the junk journal be a traveler's notebook junk journal? Yes, it can. In fact, you can make it any size, any style that you would like, as long as it's a junk journal. The next question, some were asking if you could use supplies from home. If they are Dollar Tree items, you absolutely can. If they are a generic, inexpensive item that's going to keep your total, around $15 or so, absolutely. I don't want you guys using items that are like name brand or like even Michael's paper pads. I really want to try and keep it to more of a generic supplies, as close to Dollar Tree as you can get it. Some folks from that are international don't have a Dollar Tree, and I mentioned it was all right for you to use something that was comparable to the Dollar Tree, or again, just something very generic and inexpensive. Because if I say that you can use supplies that you already have at home, then what's going to stop you from using, a Michael's Hot Buy paper pad? That might be something fun to do in the future where we use like our stash that we have already, but I do want this to be as close to a Dollar Tree under $15 challenge. Now, you don't need to question everything that you're using. If you're going to toss one or two things in there that, is not a Dollar Tree item, do not worry about it, guys. I'm not going to be checking receipts. I'm not going to be checking too closely. Just try and keep it as close to the challenge as you can. Part of the reason that I wanted to create a junk journal with all Dollar Tree items was because I thought it would kind of get my creative juices flowing and get me to try things that I wouldn't normally do. Someone asked if you could use DIY texture paste and paints, and I would say if you can find the items at the Dollar Tree to make those, then definitely go ahead with that. Again, it's going to kind of get you to try new things, and maybe you can use some supplies that the Dollar Tree has to create those things. Someone asked if you could use a yard sale. Again, this isn't necessarily just an inexpensive junk journal challenge. I really want it to be Dollar Tree challenge so that you can try new things and maybe try to create the things that you normally would use that you can't get at the Dollar Tree. I cannot wait to see what you guys create. I am super excited. I think that we are all going to get a bunch of ideas that we had never thought of, and that's why I think it would be really fun to share ideas on Instagram using that hashtag Dollar Tree JJ Challenge, and I will have all of the info listed down below. I am going to even try and create one or two more junk journals with the Dollar Tree items between now and October October 7th as well. So I will share those ideas with you. If you guys want to share photos on my Facebook page at Cool Mom Book Boutique, I'll have that link down below. I'm pretty sure you guys can upload photos onto that, and that would be a really good spot for us all to kind of gather ideas. If you guys do have any questions, let me know. I will probably, again, delete the comments that are not entering you, so maybe ask me on Instagram or another video. But I can't wait to see what you guys create, and I'm excited. So I'll see you later. Bye.